Welcome, everyone, to another episode of AIME's Grow and Get It. I'm Tom Allis, President of Growth with AIME. Today, I don't know if you know this lady or not, but Lindsay McCoy is a bright light in our industry. She is the broker owner of Care Finance Group in Northern California. I would say she's always one of those people for me that if I need help with something, especially veteran focused, we serve in a veteran organization together. She's part of our advocacy efforts at AIME. Longtime member of AIME. Welcome to the show, Lindsay. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about Veterans Day.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the Disabled Veterans Property Tax Exemption Bill that you've played a major role in helping our advocacy team, not only roll out, but to pass in a lot of different states. What do brokers need to know about the disabled the disabled property tax exemption bill that we've been working on?
I think the main focus is that we need to affect this change in every single state. We've been successful in, I should have looked this up before, but I think 11 solid states,
Yes.
California being, a leader in that, and that we need to continue to make impact in the other states, because it has an impact directly on our veteran community.
It does. I mean, to me, it's one of those that if somebody served in our armed forces, let's say that they were injured in the line of duty and their sole income is VA disability, and they're buying, let's just say they're trying to put a roof over their head. They have earned the privilege of using the VA loan that offers 100% financing. Although, as we all know, they still have to qualify, right? They have to qualify from a debt to income. They have to qualify from a residual income basis. And prior to you, Brendan, Katie, myself, our whole advocacy team working on this, they would still have to qualify for the monthly property taxes if they were buying a home, even though that they were 100% exempt from them in some of the veteran-friendly states, right? So I'm in Minnesota. Minnesota has a $300,000 property tax exemption, but a lot of the veteran-friendly states that we've passed this in already have 100%, meaning that they have no property taxes that they need to pay because they are exempt from it from their disabled status, yet they still would have to qualify for the mortgage using the property taxes that were already established on the property because they wouldn't go into effect to the following year. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And you bring up two really good points. The first point being that every state is different. Every state views the property tax exemption as either a full exemption or it might just be a discount. That discount can range in dollar amounts. In California, it equates to somewhere around $180 a month. That does change. It's a percentage, but that's about the best we can do. Up to $250 a month for low income veterans. We actually have two different classifications, but every single state is different. And as you mentioned, some of them being 100%, exempt from paying any property taxes at all. The other thing that you mentioned was that they have to qualify for this. Not only do they have to qualify for this, but we're talking about our disabled veterans. We're talking about people who are most likely on a fixed income or who can be on a fixed income. Not only do they have to qualify currently in most states with this increased amount of property and taxes, they also have to place money in their escrow account in most cases up front. And in California, they would be without those funds. They would not get a refund of those 6 to 9 months after their exemption was processed. It's not an easy process to go through. It's supposed to be simple, but there's a lot of hoops. We're asking our most disadvantaged clients to jump through hoops that they shouldn't have to jump through, which is what made me advocate for this so heavily.
It's one of those things that, like, for you and I, this is such a common sense thing. Like, well, wait a minute. If I'm exempt from property taxes, yet, they still have to qualify with it, like, it doesn't make sense, right? And there's been so many things that I've been thankful for the collaboration of just industry professionals like yourself and the leadership within AIME that say, you know what? we're going to take these like common sense things that I guarantee you, and you've done this yourself. I know for a fact that you have went into some of the legislative meetings, and I'm not the best with advocacy. Everybody knows that about me. I'm pretty transparent with, I hope I'm saying it right, legislative meetings. Is that the correct?
Yeah, that's good. You get the
And you
gist.
show up to listen here, and then you have conversations with representatives. And the
Mhm.
way that we talk to them about it is how we raise awareness. Prior, before having any sort of, broker action coalition or state captains or anybody going out and sharing this message, it was like these conversations were never had. A lot of the
Right.
legislators think, well, hey, we've done it. Like, I'll just use the state of Texas, for example, because Texas is a very veteran friendly state where if you're 100% disabled, you have no property taxes. Um, Yet, if you would talk to some of the congressional members or legislative committees and say, hey, well, do you realize that, yes, that's true, but it can't even go into it's stopping veterans from being able to purchase homes because banks still need to qualify them for that amount because it doesn't go into effect. Every
Mhm.
conversation I've had, and I want your input on this, almost all of them are like, really? Well, that seems kind of dumb or crazy. Like, we didn't realize that. And
Mhm.
it's the disconnect from frontline workers, being us, right? We're frontline. We're helping the veterans, actually communicating with them about the rates, terms, everything that they need to know about minimum property requirements, qualifying abilities, escrow accounts, like you mentioned. The disconnect in having frontline workers actually having communication with the legislative bodies that are making these rules is one of the biggest things that I think we have done to change this industry. And as you mentioned, we've passed this now in roughly 11 states, right?
Yeah.
So going forward, right? How can our group, we're in our brokers or better group here, part of AIME. Hopefully we can push this message out on our YouTube channel. How do we get mortgage professionals involved with this? How do we get them to help with the movement that we have going on?
You're right in saying that we didn't have a seat at the table prior to AIM. As brokers, let me be very clear on that. And by the way, I could talk about this for probably 2 hours. So I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. But how we can help, let me just say why there's a disconnect really quick. The reason there's a disconnect between our legislators and us as frontline workers is communication. They
Yeah.
want to hear from you. They want to know what's going on because they don't. They have hundreds of things thrown at them a day. Their assistants are going through those and trying to prioritize based on what they should be looking at. And if there's already laws passed or there's some laws passed, it just gets prioritized. They might not ever see it. But if you as a constituent raise your hand and say, I want to speak to you about this at the district level, you get to look at them face to face and tell them from your heart why it's so important that they pay attention to this issue. And then through communication, again, raising awareness and raising the importance level of their priority lists.
Yep.
Getting involved, the best way as brokers that you can be involved is getting onto your state captain's team. You're going to know what's important, what we're working with, what we're pushing for, and you're going to be able to raise your hand and really jump in and help when you feel passionate about something. Yeah, that's the best way to get involved because that's where we have an army waiting to jump on the next thing that's really important. And you
Yep.
also get to raise your hand and say, hey, I'm really passionate about this. Is this something we can work on? And that might be brought to the table.
Yep, and it has been, and that's why we've not only passed it in 11 states so far, but why I
Mhm.
would say people like yourself and all of our state captains are coming together and going to these meetings. Even the training that we had in DC when we got to actually learn, like, how should we walk into those meetings? What is the
Yes.
purpose? AIM has been just I don't know. So I don't even have the correct word for it, but it's been so
Instrumental.
that's the word I was looking for. That's why you're the bomb. Uh, yeah, but those are the things to me, why an association, why we even use the slogan, we're better together. That's the
Mhm.
reason why we're fighting. Who are we fighting for right now? We're fighting for our consumers, right? I don't
Yep.
care how much business Lindsay does or I do, or what the reality is, if you really care about others, we are an organization that's going to fight to do the right thing. And I love that about not only our state captains program, but a lot of the advocacy efforts that have been led. And my title's growth. So I help on the growth side of it. So I'm going to spin it a tad bit, right? How can this help brokers grow their own business?
Through your passion and advocacy, you will attract other people like yourself and you'll attract more clients like yourself. There's also, you're making a relationship with state legislators, representatives, assembly people, whatever it is called in your state. It is a little bit different state to state, the
Yep.
district level or county level, however it's broken up. You're making relationships with those people and showing them that you're an advocate for their constituents, our consumers.
Yeah.
There, you're going to place yourself as the expert. That is going to spread in the governmental section. Their assistants all talk at the water cooler, right? And they're going to be like, "Oh, I know more. You have a mortgage question? I know a mortgage expert. They're one of our expert witnesses. Let me get you their name and number." So you're going to open yourselves to an entirely different section of people that you probably didn't know that you could place yourself through advocacy, being the expert that you are, and get yourself around a whole nother group of people.
Love it. And it really boils down to everything about our business of your network being your net worth. If you're
Mm.
passionate about something and someone sees it and it's authentic, um, that's going to stand out. You're going to be somebody that they know, they like, and they trust. Because I can guarantee you, in the states that we've passed this, so far, the people are thankful, right? The legislative members are like, "Wow, this is really good. It didn't cost us any money. We created a win for veterans. This solved a problem to where we're really taking care of those that have taken care of us." It's really building and growing your network with intention based on you being authentic about what your drive is, right?
Mhm.
Lindsay doesn't, I don't know, I know you well enough to say, like, the only reason you do this, you truly care and like to help make a difference. It's not like, for me, like, I kind of hate to use it as a sheep in wolf's clothing here. Yes, you will get business from it, right?
Yeah.
My vertical is growth. So I'm always like, hey, how is this going to help you grow? The reality is doing selfless things for others and fighting for those that maybe don't have the band that we do or the army is going to return itself. It will help you grow your business. I love it. So if any of our brokers are tuning in, you mentioned this, but I want to circle back on it. How do they get more involved? How can a broker that's in, you know, ABC area in Oklahoma or Alabama or, who knows, you're in California, right? How do they get involved?
They Google AIME state captains and find their state captain, send them a message and say, "I want to be involved. When is your next meeting?" That's
Yes.
it. And show up
Love
to
it.
the Zoom and actively and passionately be involved to help our people.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
So I hope that we're coming into veterans. We're kind of celebrating it for a month with Veterans Day. It's one of the things that our group has been very passionate about. Take action, right? If you are in a state and you want to be more involved with AIM, reach out to your state captain. Reach out to AIM. I believe we even have an email that's advocacy@aimgroup.com. If you can't find your state captain, I love Lindsay's. You can tell she's a broker because brokers to me are resourceful. Google it, right? It's like you don't even need to, like, how do you find out the majority of this stuff? Google it. It's not that difficult. So
Yeah.
with that, we're going to close out. Lindsay, I greatly appreciate everything you do. Thankful to really have a friendship with somebody that's just the integrity of person that you are. So thank you for
Thank
all that
you.
you've done for our industry, for volunteering your time as a state captain. For those that are looking for more tips, things that you can help get involved with, check out our YouTube page at aimnational.com. That YouTube page has a lot of our past episodes of our Grow and Get It. We're here every Monday, noon Eastern, live in the Brokers Are Better Facebook group. I hope you all have an amazing day. Lindsay, thank you again. I hope you continue to go out and grow and get it.
Thank you for having me on. I love this.